How's it going? Welcome to the live stream. Whew, sorry about last week, but last couple of weeks my back was killing me and having all kinds of problems. Yeah, so let's forget the past and get started with the future. If you're watching this on the repost, make sure to leave comments or any questions you have about knife making or any of your passions. This live stream, I know I'm a knife maker, but this live stream is mainly about following our passions and developing our passions and getting all that kind of stuff done. So, hey, what's up, Bootleg Blades? What's up, Aaron? Whew, man. Actually, man, my scheduling and all that's messed up. I was like, wait, is this Easter Sunday? No one's going to show up, but it's Palm Sunday, so. Which is, it was going to be ironic because the title of this is I Don't Want to Be Humble. And so let's just jump into that. And before everyone jumps on my case, what's up, Loderman? How you doing? I'm doing pretty good. Before everyone jumps on my case, because I know it's a big deal about being humble, and you gotta be humble, and it's just a big trend. And that last week when my back was all messed up, when I'm not working, my head gets all twisted, and I start thinking, overthinking everything. And on YouTube, I see a lot of guys that say, stay humble, stay humble. Shepherd's Forge Age, my good friend Heath, at the end of every video, he always says, stay humble. Matty Hapoya says it a lot in his videos. Jeremy from Simple Little Life, I think he even has it tattooed on his fingers. Work hard and stay humble. So, me being the inquisitive person, I went and I looked it up. And the definition of being humble is, I have to read it just to make sure, having or showing low estimate of self-importance. And the opposite of being humble is being proud. And it made me think, no one should show low self-importance of themselves. You know, I know, I understand, the minimalist of, being humble. But I want to be grateful. I want to be respectful. I want to be helpful. Being humble and working hard at something and then saying, oh, well, this isn't that good, that just doesn't make sense to me. Yeah, and, a lot of guys, like, Jeremy from Simple Little Life, that guy helps more people with knife making. He's very respectful. If you ever talk to him, he's like the happiest, cheerful person, and he really inspires people. He should be proud of that, not humble about it. But I just think the word has been taken out of context. You don't. And remember, this is my opinion. I could be wrong. I'm wrong about a lot of things. Bootleg Blades, I don't really do humble very well, but you have a good point. Nobody likes a jack off, show off, blow. See, and that's the other point. Now, just because you're not humble doesn't mean you have to be conceited. It doesn't mean you have to stop learning. It doesn't mean, you have to brag about what you do. Just be proud. I mean, man, if you work hard at what you do and you put everything into that, you should be proud of it. Don't downgrade it. You just put everything, every part of your soul into what you're working on, and you're going to tell people it's not that good? And I understand the other side. You can't be like, oh, this is the best thing I ever did. This is better than other people. You can't be conceited. You can't be complacent about these things. There's that fine balance. And if you listen to my live streams a lot, I'm always talking about finding that balance. But to me, humble is the wrong word. No one should ever show low self-importance about something they worked on. And if they're feeling a low self-importance, they should work to make that better. Like that last, 2 weeks ago when I took that whole week off. My back was messing up. I was sleeping too much and I was just getting out of it. Now I started getting depressed and all this stuff. And yeah, you start feeling bad about yourself and like, oh, I should be up working. But that's something you should change. You shouldn't want to be humble. If that's the definition of humble, showing low self-importance. Why would I want to do that? I want to be proud, you know? It even says, you look up the definition, it says the opposite, proud. You know, I want to be proud of myself. I want to be proud of my work. I want to be proud that I help others. And I want to be proud that I'm respectful to others. You know, and I'm grateful for every little step I take and every little platform that I go from. I want to be proud of those things. I don't want to downgrade it, you know. And and there's always, you have to learn. You know, just because you got good at something doesn't mean you have to brag about it and be boisterous and be like, yes, I'm better than you. Because that's wrong too. It's it's just, you know, there's such a large scope of being humble to being, you know, overly bragging and think you're the best. You know, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying, oh, you know, you have to be your best. You know, if that makes sense. Be the best person you can be and work hard at it and do what you can. You know, like I said, being humble just, I don't know. It's just a big trend I see a lot of people saying, be humble, stay humble. Well, I don't think that's very good. If being humble means make yourself less important than you are, then I don't want to be that. You know, I work very hard at what I do. I put a lot of effort into helping others, and I'm very respectful at what I do. Bootleg blades. Well, the problem is a lot of people don't know the real definition of words. And the poor pay the teachers and the education system of the country for the past 3 decades. Yeah. See, that's why I had to go look it up, because it's like, you know, I'm horrible with words. I mean, let me put that in context. I'm actually really great at writing lyrics and expressing myself, but when it comes to definitions, a lot of times I get them wrong. And once I looked this up, and I was like, that's what being humble means. You know, meek beginnings. You know, humble beginnings. It means you start with nothing. I don't want to stay that way. I want to learn. I want to progress. I want to build. You know, if that makes sense. So, I think it's a word that is misused because it just seems to me like BK Blacksmith. Hey, what's up, guys? Meekness. Aaron says meekness is what he wants. See, they say the meek will inherit the earth, so I don't know. It just, it seems like humble. I don't know. It just dawned on me because I see a lot of people saying it. Be humble, stay humble. You know, and I understand. You know, there's a lot of people out there that want to be minimalist, and really, I should put that. You know, being a minimalist is actually seems like a good way to be, because me, I have way too much stuff and everything gets cluttered, and you know, I can't walk in my shop because I have so much stuff. Now, being a minimalist seems like a whole different thing than being humble. It just, I don't know. When I read the definition that said show low self-importance, that just kind of made me think, why would I want to do that? Why would I want to make myself, you know, being modest and all that, you know, I understand that. But to make yourself smaller or have less importance than what you really are, after you've put all this work into something, I don't know. It just, anyway. Oh, man. Yeah, whew, taking that week off. But I'll tell you what, I got the new chair. I actually got a new chair here, too. It's, this chair, so more comfortable. And you won't hear me squeaking all the time. Because that wooden chair was a pain. It was literally a pain in the butt. This one's a lot more comfortable. It's actually bouncy too. So, but man, yeah, that back, man, having back problems, man, it's just debilitating. So I spent a lot of money on a new gaming chair. And it was crazy because I sat in it the first 2 hours I sat in it, my back cracked like 12 times. I mean, it felt great, but it was like, oh, man. And I haven't had like headaches since or any, well, I have upper back problems because when I'm sitting here grinding or working on stuff, I'm still hunched over. So I still have to remember to like stretch my back and flex my back and all that. So, yeah, whew. But man, let me show you guys what I've been working on yesterday. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you already seen this, but check this out. Boom! I moved the heat treat oven, the big one. I took it apart and I put new sides on there, and I put it for the new elements and all that. So if you look to the left, the small one, I put the roof on that yesterday, and I'm gonna put the same elements in the big oven that I have in the small one. So, but I had to wait and let everything dry. So, but yeah, man. Whew. Hey, what's up, Chip? How's it going? You just missed my rant on being humble and how I don't want to be humble. BK Blacksmith says, I'm proud of my work and proud of my tools. I worked my butt off for it. Exactly. That's my point. Why would I want to lessen everything I put into it? I mean, man, why work hard for something if you're not going to be proud about it? So Chip, you missed because I said I don't want to be humble, because humble means showing less importance of yourself. If you work hard, be proud. But don't be too over proud and be cocky. But I'm sure you'll go back and watch the beginning of this anyway. But yeah, man. Whew, man. So, excuse me. Oh, man. So, I had a couple of people, or I see a lot of this trend for new knife makers, and they talk about, oh, I have all these unfinished knives around. And believe me, I've got knives everywhere in my house. And, it was a big thing for me where I would go and I would work on, I'd start working on one knife, and I'd get to a point where I would start messing that knife up. So I'd start on a new knife. And my whole philosophy was like, oh, well, I'll come back and finish this knife when I get better. But I never did. Oh, by the way, check it out. This is the new Evader Knife shirt. Let me know what you guys think. I haven't put it up on the website, but I think I am. It's just like Evader Knife, handmade designs, made in America. Plain and simple, So I don't know if I should drop the logo down a little bit more or what. So I wanted to see what it looked like before I bought it or got it put out in the process. So Chip says he's been waiting all week for this and almost missed it. Yeah, so I figured just an easy boom, And since on the other shirt, everyone bought it with the straight logo, because I like the logo where it was curved. I'm trying to look at myself instead of looking at the camera. I like it curved, but everyone seemed to buy the straight logo, so I just used the straight logo, and bam, I left the knife out. If you see my other shirt, there's like a knife in the middle in the hands of handmade designs, but I figured this would just tell it as it is. So, yeah, man. Whew. But anyway, getting back to the knife thing, I was looking at myself being vapid, and noticed I had the shirt on and almost forgot about that. But, anyway, yeah. So it's a big trap to fall into as a knife maker, or probably anything that you're trying to learn as a hobby or a new skill. As you start getting better at things. Rhino54. Hey, how's it going? Haven't seen you for a while. Hope everything's good in France. He says, Rhino54 says, we should be proud of our work, but always remember there are others that are better and to strive to equal them. People like me and, people like you and Jeremy that share what you know are examples to others. As you can see, I'm not good at reading. But that's 100% what I'm saying. That's true. Jeremy has stay humble on his fingers, But that guy helps more people. You know, he helped me when I was starting out. You know, every once in a while I'll DM him or stuff like that, talk to him on Instagram. And he's the nicest guy in the world. You know, it's not like an on camera, uh, I want to say facade, but, you know, it's not like an on camera personality. When you talk to him, he's really like that. He's really nice and really helpful. And, you know, he should be proud of that. He should be proud that he's helped so many knife makers. And, and and he's always learning. Like his last couple of videos where he's, you know, he even went to take a class to learn to sharpen, which I think I need to do because sharpening is my weakest point. LHI Production, hey, what's going on? So, you know, I'm not saying if you're not humble, you have to be, oh, I'm the best, or you have to be cocky and stop learning and get conceited and you know, all those C words. But complacent, that's the other word I was thinking of. You know, keep learning, but take pride in what you do. Take pride in everything you do. If you're not doing something well, work harder to make it better. So, as I read the comments, I get off tracking. But so, you know, when I was making knives, I would get to a point where I'd mess up. But I was like, oh man, I'll just put this knife to the side and I'll fix it later when I get better. Instead of trying to get better right then and fix it. And I've got knives all over the shop that are just horrible, you know, bad knives and bad prototypes. But one thing I learned after a couple years or a year of working is, you know, these knives aren't going to go any further. You're not going to come back, you know, 6 months later and finish them. So you might as well, you know, if they're wrecked, if there's mistakes on them, man, fix those mistakes or regrind them, learn how to fix your mistakes. Use these bad knives to make yourself better, if that makes sense. Because, man, I've got a whole rack of knives just sitting there from 2 years ago that, oh, I'm going to finish these later. I'm going to come back and get these done. Man, I like this bouncy chair. I'm not used to it. I'm used to sitting on a wooden stool. Chip says, I hate to start a new knife until I finish one. I'm working on, I should say fixing on. Bootlegs, I stopped mailing knives and now just build forges. Man, bootleg blades, that forge you built is sweet. Yeah, man. You did a good job on it. Definitely a good job on it. See, Aaron says he gives them away. You know what's funny? That's actually one of my topics, Aaron. Man, it's like we're on the same wavelength. I used to do that. I have all these knives sitting around, and people be like, "Oh man, can you send me that knife?" Or I had a bunch of knives, and a guy contacted me. He's like, "Oh man, someone stole all my knives, and you know, someone broke into my house, stole all my knives, and all this." So I sent him like 10 knives that were like 90 to 95% done. And then there was another guy that's like, oh, and I showed him how this knife was messed up, or I posted it, this knife is messed up. He's like, hey, my son and me want to finish a knife or work on a knife. Can you send me that? So, you know, I charged them for shipping, but I didn't charge them for the knives. Never heard back from them again. You know, my friend's like, man, you're such a sucker. People just, you know, want your stuff, and here you're giving it to them. You know, and my point was, well, that's fine. So I'm a sucker, I send it away. But maybe, in little chance, that these guys really do what they say, or this guy really did have his knives stolen. You know, but I stopped doing that because people aren't grateful. You know, and I don't know. Some people, you know, I don't mind giving my old stuff that I'm not using away and stuff. Let them use it more. But when people just show no appreciation for it, and you know, you get the sense of, man, these people are just lying, and it sucks that that's the way life has become, or people have become, that you can't trust people, because it's great to help people. Hey, if someone wants to start getting into knife making and all that, I go out of my way to help them, because I had people that helped me, and I would ask questions, and they'd answer questions for me and help me out. So I remember those times where, man, I just feel like I'm getting nothing accomplished, and I need just that little push, or that little inspiration, or that little help. But when people show no appreciation for it, I mean, they're contacting you, asking you for something. You know, in the least, I'm not even asking for much, or like, oh, thank you so much, thank you so much. But hey, send me a picture. You obviously have, my information because you contacted me. Show me a picture of what you and your kid are doing with this knife, or show me how you're finishing these knives I sent you, or any little thing. It's just like, oh man, we got what we want, so boom, we're out. And I don't know. Actually, I just stopped messing up knives, so I didn't have any to send. Oh, there's the complacency. No, but that's one thing. If say, and I'm really bad with finishing things that I started. And Kevin Hart was on Joe Rogan 2 weeks ago. If you watched or listen to Joe Rogan's podcast, and he did a whole thing, Kevin Hart, where he's like, the one thing his mom instilled in him is, if you're going to start something, you have to finish it. It's like, you don't have to finish it good. You don't have to become the best. You don't have to become better than anyone else. But if you're going to start something, you have to finish it. And that's something I really need to work on. That's one of my weakest points. I have like 10 knives here that are 95% done, and they're close to being finished. But I start other projects like, oh man, I want to get the heat treat oven done. So, I'm working on all these things, but man, that heat treat oven, man, well, I'll have 2 heat treat ovens soon. I can't wait. Man, that means I can do stainless in one and high carbon in the other, or whatever, and boom, boom, boom. Oh man. So check this out. If you guys watched the live stream a couple weeks ago, I told you. Oop, I better remember where that goes. I told you I bought this new wheel thing, and let's see how they go. It was on like this. So I was like, oh man, I can't put that on because my other one is attached like this. Well, if you take that block off, these 2 holes are the same width as this. So, yeah, just take the block off and bam. But see, I put it all together. That's what it's going to look like. Whoop! I'm going to drop everything. So the belt comes down. It'll be under here. And boom. So I can't wait to use that. Haha. Yeah, man. Now, let's see. Where did I put on the point of finishing knives, I've actually been doing some hand sanding. I did some time lapse of it, so maybe I'll put it in Monday's video. So, boom. There we go. I'm going to put a couple more coats and maybe buff it out. If you guys watch Relic Wood Co., he does, man, if you guys are into like forging and all that, want to learn forging, this guy, man, makes his own Damascus and a bunch of good stuff. So, yeah, Relic Wood Co. But he just did a thing, because I'm not, I was a carpenter, but I didn't work on like exotic woods and finishing woods and all that stuff. We just slapped up houses. And what he does is he uses a buffer, but he doesn't use compound on his buffer for wood. So that's actually, what is that, Danish oil on there? I'm trying to, I don't know whether to look at the camera or look at my screen, but boom. So there it is. I'm trying to get the handle in the light, so bam. It's got these nice designs, so I got to put a couple more coats of it, and then I'll probably buff it out, but yeah, man. That was nice. I was hand sanding on this one, but I think I need to go back and put it on the belts a little bit more, because right back here, they're a little uneven. They probably don't look uneven, but to my eye, they are. But man, these are coming out pretty good. For I'm not. I've done what, like 4 or 5 wood handles, so. And I still got this one. I got a hand sand, so. But yeah, then all we got to do after that is logos and yeah, kydex. One day maybe I'll try leather. I bought a bunch of leather a long time ago and all the tools, and I still haven't tried it, so I'd like to though. Whew. Man. Oh. Man, after not being here for a couple weeks, I've been working hard and haven't been writing things down, so I'm kind of out of topics. But anything you guys want to talk about? Anything about knives or anything? Or passions or anything like that? Questions? Chip's always saying he's got questions, so if you got questions, fire away. Oh, man, I gotta be more prepared next time. 2 weeks off and, well, 1 week off and then 1 week fighting cameras and fighting, man, that last video where I was wiring the heat treat oven, I have never had so many problems in my life. It's almost like I forgot everything I knew about setting up cameras and photography and all that. 2 of the cameras cut off because my Canon camera. Let's see, this camera over here, the one that's doing that shot, my Canon, that has like a 30-minute time limit. But what I've learned is Sony doesn't have a time limit, but if you let it run for over an hour or something, it cuts off. And I don't know if it's because it cut off because it overheated or what, but that whole hour and 30 minutes was corrupt. So the whole file was just useless. And I have some programs where I can recover corrupted files, but man, this file was just, I saved the footage, but it looked bad. It just wasn't usable. So it's like, oh man. So the last hour of wiring, and that's why in that last video, I had to reshoot everything. It's like that whole last hour was just gone. It's just unusable, and oh man. So gotta remember, but it's little mistakes like that you have to be persistent about, and so it was Wednesday, I thought, or Tuesday night, I had most of the footage done, and I was like, man, I can't put out this half-ass video. I gotta go down Wednesday, I gotta reshoot it all, and then I gotta spend it and re-edit it, and now I could have tucked my head between my legs and gone off crying home with my ball in my hand, or whatever that cliche is, but, and believe me, my OCD's like, you have to finish it, put out what you got, but it's like, no, instead of hitting that Wednesday deadline that I usually hit, it's like, man, just get back in the saddle, you missed a whole week last week, so, take a few days and shoot it and get it all figured out and get it all worked out. My tail between my legs. That's what it is. Thanks, Chip. Yeah. Bootleg Blade says his M50 has a 29-minute time limit. Yeah. See, in fact, this Sony camera, the 6400, is like the first camera they've put out that doesn't have time limits. And it's awesome because, man, especially when I'm grinding or something, because I always forget, time. I used to think, man, I'm gonna set a timer on my phone or something so it'll remind me when it's 25 minutes. Now the iPhone will record for an hour, but it can also overheat. So, but actually, I think I might have turned it off by accident, and then so I didn't have that footage either. It's like, man, you know, I can sit there and blame the cameras, and I can sit there and blame the phone and blame everything else, but it was me. So it's like, man, the only one to blame is myself. Oh man, BK Blacksmith, yeah, that's the thing. Um, that's what you're supposed to do. You start it and you stop it, and then yeah. In fact, that's what takes me so long when I'm editing these videos. You know, when I edit a video, it takes at the least 5 hours because I've got 4 cameras, 3 or 4 cameras worth of footage, and you know I have to splice them and cut them together and put transitions and all that stuff together. But the problem is when you're grinding or you get into something, you know, well, especially grinding. Grinding's the best example. I'll be grinding and I won't even realize it's been a half an hour. So I'll turn off, you know, I'll turn the grinder off and then realize, oh, the camera's been off for 20 minutes or something like that. So, yeah. Oh, man. Bootlegs blades, but my mouth has an 18-minute time limit. So it hasn't really been a problem. Oh. Oh, man. That's funny. Oh, man. Oh, man. 32 minutes. Man, I gotta admit, I'm struggling on this one. I didn't write a bunch of stuff. I've been so consumed with that heat treat oven stuff that, yeah, I didn't write anything down. I would go in there. I don't know if I could take the mic in there or if you could hear me. And then I couldn't even see the screen. But I'll put that stuff on. I'm going to do a video. I bought some new wire. Like if you guys watched the last video of wiring, I bought some new wire and I bought some new clips to make it easier for wiring. So I think the last video, which I'm going to start shooting tomorrow, or maybe even later today, depending on how I feel, it's going to be kind of a touch-up video where, because if you go back and watch even like the second part where I cemented all the walls together and then drilled them out, well, I didn't do that on my big oven. I did them all separate. So it's like going to be the final video, but it's going to be like all little tweaks and, you know, things that I got wrong. So I don't know if I should be like, watch this video first and then watch the rest of the series so you know what I did wrong in the other videos or anything like that. Chip says Cat Cradle did an awesome video on quenching muddy water. Yeah, Chip, Cat's Cradle Forge, that was an awesome video. You know, me and him were going back and forth about 5160 and discussing stuff, and I did a video probably over a year ago because everyone's like, oh, you have to use Parks 50. You have to use Parks 50, which Parks 50 is a quench oil that's almost like water. And when you're quenching like W2, it's a water quench steel, but the problem with quenching in water is it can crack your blade because it's too fast. So Parks 50 is like a step down from water, so you don't crack your blade. Now the thing is, a lot of people use it for every steel, and they're like, oh. And the other problem with Parks 50 is if you don't have an account or you don't have a connection, it's like I think I paid $60 for a gallon of it. So, and then everyone's like, oh, why did you pay $60 a gallon? I've got 5 gallons for $120. But then you find out they have an account and they can buy it. So anyway, I digress. But so everyone's like, Parks 50, you got to use Parks 50, you got to use Parks 50. But if you're doing like 52-100 or 80 CRV2 or these or 01 steels that need a slower quench, you're going to need something like McMaster Car 11 second, which that's the main quench I use, McMaster Car, because it's like what, $20 for a gallon. So you know it's a third of the price, unless you're buying 5 gallons at a time. And so I told him when I was doing that W2 Parks 50 thing, I was looking up because a lot of people do these quenches where they like if you guys watch Walter Sorrells, which I know a bunch of you probably do, he does interrupted quench where he puts it in the water real quick and then puts it in the oil. So I was thinking, man, there has to be a way to mix water and oil. So I was doing all this research and I came up with uh, if you take oil and you take water and you put in 2 drops of dish soap, they mix and they become one consistent fluid. So I didn't, if it was, if you go back and look at the playlist, it's like the W2 McMaster car. No, wait. It was like the small knife. It was these knives. It was the build for these knives. It was like that's what it's called. W2 for 1095 Hamones. And that's what I did. And with the canola oil in the water, with the dish soap, well, it was actually salt water, not just regular water. It was salt water. And so it went like the Parks 50 was the best. I didn't use regular water because I didn't want to crack my blades. So I went Parks 50, then I used the canola, and then I used the McMaster car. And that's exactly the progression. The Parks 50, of course, was the best. It's made for doing Hamones and made for that fast quench. But I was surprised how good the canola and water with dish soap was. Now, the other thing I did is I didn't sit there and make a recipe. I just mixed it. I poured, like 50% oil and 50% water and a few drops of dish soap and mixed it up. And it worked. So I'm sure if you, in a pinch, needed to like hone in your recipe, like, okay, maybe it's like 1/4 oil to 3/4 water with a couple drops, salt water. You could probably get it to probably almost to Parks consistency. So me, I like to experiment with things, and people are like, oh, this has to be done this way. I like to test it. Which I will say, now that I tore my old heat treat oven apart, I got all those extra bricks. And I'm going to use those bricks to make a ghetto forge outside and redo that 01 test. I know, Chip, you were asking for it. Chip was asking me to redo that 01 steel. And so I'm going to just take the bricks and stack them up into a little hut, and then take that same torch and lock it down and put it in through the bricks and show you how to make a ghetto forge. Hopefully. Hopefully it'll work. In my head it works, so but there's a lot of things that in my head works that when you put it on paper or when you put it into practice, I should say, don't work. But if you don't try, then you fail. That's been like my biggest mantra. Is that the word? Your biggest. I think that's what people use. I think mantra's the word. Here I am throwing out words I don't know the definition of, but I'm pretty sure. If you don't try, you fail 100%. And that's man. When I realized that, my whole world changed. Because I used to be like, oh, well, I don't want to try something new. I don't want to try this new thing because I might fail at it. Well, if you don't try, you've already failed. You're 100% failure rate if you don't try. So if you try and you fail, you're that much better because you know why you failed or you know how you failed. You know what made you fail. So you try again and you adjust these little things and boom, you make a little progress and you make a little progress. And then you keep trying. That goes back to the knife things. Instead of putting these knives aside saying, oh, I'll come back in a few months or 6 months when I'm better at knife making and I'm going to fix these knives then, I should just sit down because they're already messed up. I've said this plenty of times in my live stream. My best friend that got me into knife making used to say, finish a knife or throw it away. It's messed up. You can't dwell on it. So use this messed up knife and learn how to fix it. And Ecom Knives said this a long time ago. Knife making is making mistakes and learning how to fix them. You know, it doesn't matter how good you get at knife making, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to mess up. But when you learn how to fix those mistakes, that's when you really know what knife making's about. Chip says he can't get close to his forge now. It throws off some heat. Needs some special clothes so he doesn't catch on fire. Or maybe turn it down. Turn down the, you know, adjust. See, let's see. Whatever. Yeah, just turn the heat. I mean, not the heat. Turn down the propane. I forget how yours, because some have a baffle. See, like my old forge, I used a ball valve to control the air. So I could turn up or turn down the propane, and then I could open and close the ball valve to let in air to get the right mix. So, oh, he says it really works better now. You can turn down the heat. Man, I'm drinking a lot of this. I'm going to drink this whole thing. I guess that'll be the time to cut off the live stream when I run out of something to drink. Oh, man. Oh, yeah. So, looks like, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I got 8 knives I still have to finish. But, I'm going to do a coffee etch. I don't drink coffee at all, but, I went and bought one of those pour over coffee things because if you guys have watched me for a while, you know I love Peter McKinnon. And I've talked about how he brought coffee. In fact, Simple Little Life did a coffee video today. I haven't watched it yet. And I told him, he put up on Instagram, he's like, should I do a video on how I make coffee? And I DM'd him and I was like, I don't drink coffee, but I'm getting ready to shoot a video on making coffee to do hormones. Because I see a lot of guys use coffee soak for Damascus, but I don't know if it would work on hormones, so that's why I want to try it. I think the reason it works on Damascus is because you have 2 different steels, you know, so it brings out more of a color in one and that others. But, you know, I want to try it at least. But it'll be a great B-roll shot, you know, because, you know, it'd be like my tribute to Peter McKinnon making a thing of coffee. I bought the pour over thing and all that just to make some coffee. But I'll have to shoot the video backwards because I contacted Niels Vandenberg. If you guys don't watch Neil, in fact, Green Beetle did a Maker's Mark. If you guys don't watch Green Beetle and you're into forging, you guys are missing out on that too. But Stuart Smith and Niels Vandenberg are like real good buddies, and they work together a lot. And man, both those channels have awesome tips. In fact, some of the tips you see me using, you'll be like, oh, that's where he got it from. But Green Beetle put out a thing on Stuart Smith. But anyway, yeah, I contacted Niels Vandenberg, and he's an awesome guy. You know, he's real helpful. And I asked him about how he does his coffee etch. And he said he puts it in ferric first. So I'm going to have to shoot the video where I do the B-roll and make or I'm going to have to shoot the video where I do all the ferric and do all the polishing to get the hormone to come out. And then I'm going to have to shoot the B-roll for the coffee and then put the coffee stuff first. So I'll just mix it all up. Chip said he passed on the coffee video today. Didn't have anything to do with knives. Yeah, but Jeremy's an entertaining guy, so it's fun to watch. You know, that's the thing. Sometimes you watch videos to learn. Sometimes you watch to be entertained. So, but yeah, coffee is like coffee. That's the 2 things. Coffee and being humble. Those are the 2 big trends on YouTube these days. All right, I made it to 45 minutes. I gotta keep up on my ideas and my content for next week. I gotta admit, man, I was a little nervous there at the 30-minute mark. I didn't think I could make it, but we made it. So you know, I'm going to see what it's like. I'm going to put this shirt up on my website. So if you guys want to go get this shirt, yeah, support the channel. I appreciate it. Uh, if you guys got any ideas of how to change it, like I was thinking maybe put like a flag behind it, but that might be too much to print. It might just be too gaudy and take away from it. So, yeah, I did America in red, white, and blue. Or, no, just red and blue. I guess there's no white in there. But there's white on the Invaders. So, well, and there's Made in America is white. And I've also got another, I've got this same design, but if you want it in colors, the Made in will be like blue. Or maybe, I don't know, we'll see. But I can do it in other colors too. Chip said he'll get a shirt, so I appreciate that. So yeah, I'm gonna go put this up on my website. Should be up there within a couple hours. If you guys want to get it, you know, much love. Really appreciate it. Think we're gonna wind it down at this point. Uh, like always, I gotta show my Amazon links and my knives. I got 2 knives up there on the website right now, and hopefully in the next week or two I'll have about 6 more up there. But yeah, so Amazon links are on my website, which are up on the cards. See, I put the cards up before the live stream, but I don't know how that goes. But if you're watching the repost, and I'll put all that stuff in the description and in the comments, so if you need to get to my website, it's all that stuff there. My website actually has all my music, all kinds of stuff, so it's not just, to buy things. If you want to go there, and in fact, I'll give you as a little secret. If you go to the way end of my website, you can see where I was going to write a book and a bunch of stuff about my past that I haven't talked about yet, but you guys got to keep it secret. That'll come one day. Alright, so thanks for watching. I really appreciate all the support. Thanks everyone for showing up. Yeah. Hope you have a great week. I'm going to get back on this oven, get a couple videos out this week. And if you're just here for the live stream, hope to see you next Sunday. Even though it's Easter, if you can't make it for Easter, I understand that. I'm a Christian myself. I'll put it out and I'll be here because I have to be here to take care of my mom and stuff anyway. So I'll do the live stream. If you just want to stop by and say hey, and I got to go be with my family, I understand. Family is priority number 1. So let's have a good week. Thanks for watching. Thanks for all the support. And as always, take it easy.